Hello and welcome to this episode of Success Synergy Show. I am doing this show today with a heavy heart because of the facts that have just come up. And let me tell you, don't go just by the title of the show. I have used this to attract people to the realities. Recently, the Hindi film actor Sushant Singh Rajput committed suicide, and there are a lot of opinions floating around on the internet. I have also seen a lot of opinions, and it's not about just harassment due to politics and things like that, nepotism and things like that, or lobbying or whatever. This particular show is only about understanding organized politics, and I will give out some basic, valuable realities about organized politics. So, if you are looking for some kind of gossip over here, kindly take an exit because this is not about giving out any kind of gossip. I extend my deepest condolences to the bereaved family, and I know your loss is absolutely irreparable. And I'm not going to give any opinions about the film industry as such because already there are too many opinions floating around. Today, I am trying to give out some clarifications only about organized politics. This is not an opinionated piece at all. Hello, this is Neena Dayal. On this video, I will help you understand some important realities of organized politics and how you can survive and thrive in it. When I'm saying valuable realities, they are actually the ground realities. So, if you are facing organized politics, wherever you are in the world, if you are facing organized politics, remember you are not the only one. You are not the only one. And in a moment, I will help you understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. See, one of the valuable realities is that politics exists everywhere. There is no industry, no institution, no organization, no company, no group, in fact, no home and no family or any other space inhabited by human beings where politics doesn't exist. I always say human beings are political creatures. Put two or three people together and they can start playing politics. If you don't believe me, look around in your own family. You will find brilliant politics happening over there. And that is what I am going to focus on today. So, this is a valuable reality which everybody should understand. It is not about one industry, one group, one cult. It is a human existential reality. It is everywhere. So, it's not about changing industries or anything. It's about understanding some human realities. So, the other valuable reality definitely is that if you're facing organized politics, you're not the only one. You are, you just have to understand that if you are not born inside of already successful groups, you have to face organized politics. Not a single person gets spared, not a single person. This is the most important reality which everybody needs to understand. Now, since this is not an opinionated piece, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have been into business coaching for close to 10 years now. I'll be completing 10 years in the month of August 2020. And I have, in my whole career of business coaching, spanning nearly 10 years, with a very distinguished global clientele from mid to apex levels, I've seen politics happening because eventually the clients who open up with you, they start talking about it. And since business coaching is a very closed, confidential space, a lot of information is exchanged over there, which I cannot disclose due to the deep confidentiality agreement that I have with my coaching clients, but I have to give it out that it does exist. And yet, it is something which is not talked about. The reason behind this is that, well, there are victims and there are perpetrators in every space. Observe it in your home, observe it in your family. Like I said earlier, it's existent also over there. So leave alone an organization or leave alone a group or an industry as such. It is there everywhere as a human existential reality. Now, another reality is that human beings tend to operate in close and comfortable groups. And these groups are extremely hard to break into by the people who are outside of these groups. That is also a human existential reality because it is a comfort zone oriented behavior. Whether you are successful or not by the industry or the worldly standards, you still operate in close and comfortable groups. It's a comfort zone related behavior. It has got nothing to do with anybody's success or anybody's failure as per the industry or the worldly standards. And I'm using success and failure constantly only because it is just a parameter with which we actually measure anybody's stature in the society. And the fact of the matter is that human beings tend to operate in close and comfortable groups, and that's it. And outsiders, whenever they are trying to create success for themselves, in especially this happens in a very competitive industry, it is in their own self-interest that they want to be accepted inside of these well-placed groups. And this desire, I feel, is perfectly all right. People also manage to get accepted inside successful closed groups, but you need to understand a few valuable tips for doing this. It is just a way the human society has been designed. There is no right or wrong over here. It is just the way we have learned to operate in a societal existence. And that's just how the things are. So it is not about uh, being a part of one group or being a part of another group. I mean, you need to understand what happens inside of these groups as a human existential reality. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of lobbying does happen inside of these groups to prevent outsiders from entering. And as I said, if you are trying to create success for yourself in a competitive industry, it's in your own self interest that you want to be accepted inside of these well placed groups. So, excuse me. So that's how the whole power play happens. And valuable reality, another one, is that power play does happen everywhere. Nepotism and favoritism happens everywhere. It's not just one industry, one society, one group, or one company, or one human existence that is operating with power play. I mean, just look at the human history. I always say that human history is actually the bloodiest of all the animal kingdom because that's how we are. That's just how we are. Power play does happen both in successful as well as in unsuccessful lobbies. Again, I'm using the word success and failure in the context of the worldly parameters with which success and failure is generally measured. So understand that power play happens both in successful as well as in unsuccessful lobbies. And power play, nepotism, favoritism happens everywhere. They are again human existential realities. Pick up the greatest, biggest epic that has ever been written, the Mahabharata, and it is all full of this. Nothing more than that. So, number one point that I covered over here is that if you're facing organized politics, wherever in the world you are, wherever in whichever organization you may be, if you are facing organized politics, remember you are not the only one. Second one is that understand that politics exists everywhere. Organized politics happens everywhere. Third one is that humans tend to operate in close and comfortable groups, which are extremely hard to break into by the people who are outside of these groups. And a lot of power play, lobbying, nepotism, and favoritism happens everywhere. So, what do you do? So, what do you do to break into these groups? Well, before coming to that, you need to understand why you want to break into any of these groups. See, you don't wish to get acceptance into a lobby of unsuccessful people. Again, going by the parameters which are set by the worldly standards. You don't wish to get acceptance into a lobby of unsuccessful people, so you just leave them alone. In fact, you try to maintain your distance from them. But it's in your own self interest to get acceptance into a lobby of successful people. After all, breaking into such successful lobbies can take you forward in your own career. So, becoming super successful in your career is a perfectly good desire, and you can make it come true only if you understand how to deal with organized politics. Because once you know that it is a human existential reality that organized politics is going to happen, then your mind gets cleared of whether you are being a victim, whether who is saying what to you, and whether somebody is playing a game and you are being victimized, or maybe you want to start perpetrating the same thing over and over again with your own subordinates or juniors. That's all out of the window. And now you are clear in your mind that this is the kind of game that you have set yourself up against. It happens everywhere, and now you want to break into it. So once you clear your mind with understanding all of these realities, then the pathway of crossing over becomes easier. So another reality is that you have to develop your sense of humor. Yes, the organized politics generally is done by the methodologies of teasing, taunting, making snide remarks, ignoring your work, or sometimes even insulting you outright, and other such behaviors. Well, if you remember the bully on the playground or at school, it is exactly the same kind of behavior which the adult world also shows. So, if you develop a good sense of humor, you can understand how to give them right back in such a way that it makes the environment light-hearted, and humorous. That's the approach that one needs to take, no matter what the situation may be. Now, if you do this with a cool and calculated approach, when you are surrounded by a lot of other people, when you are in the earshot of a lot of people, then you can see what happens. But most of the people, unfortunately, are not able to do that, because sense of humor is something which is a kind of a great refined art which people don't just give their preference to actually developing. And understanding what sense of humor really means is really very low. You know, the deep understanding of what sense of humor really means is absolutely at a low, pathetic level. Generally, people think that sense of humor is all about cracking jokes, all about the tomfoolery, all about just jumping up and down, and actually creating a scene which makes them the center of attention, or outrightly laughing at somebody else. That's not what sense of humor is at all. In fact, that is a crass version of God knows what, but it is definitely not sense of humor. Sense of humor is a quality, a refined quality of great wit, humor, and giving a comment which can sweeten the blow and yet can deliver right on target. And after you give a few times to the people humorously, one thing I can tell you right away, that they will think twice before crossing your path. Another advantage is that negative remarks impact you less when you develop the ability to give it back with humor. And you start enjoying yourself more and more. You start feeling like a winner every time you're able to give it back with humor. And this slowly and steadily helps you develop resilience. You feel good about yourself. And that's where the resilience built up starts happening. So instead of giving it in a whiny manner, instead of actually complaining or trying to cajole anybody, or actually just giving into any kind of bullish behavior, it's best to give a cool, calculated remark. And the remark hits on the target. I can tell you that. See, the people who are a part of a successful lobby understand that they have, please understand this, that they have also seen lots of struggle, and they are also looking for winners who can actually outwit them. Most of the people are. So, why most people don't develop a good sense of humor is because they're just too emotional about everything. They have seen the world with some rose tinted glasses, and I would say that they have no idea about points 1 to 4, as I described earlier. And they think the world is a place where they can just get away by giving good work and uh, being a good human being. I mean, that's not how the world operates, unfortunately, and nobody teaches anybody about these kind of things, except for in close business coaching environments where I have also coached a lot of people about developing their sense of humor, about how to tackle difficult people. In fact, I've created a few videos which are available on my YouTube channel. They are all about how to deal with toxic co-workers. And I think if you're interested in this topic, you should go back and listen and watch those videos. You will get a lot of good pieces of advice over there. And if you're interested, you can reach to me and come into a private coaching also. So that's what the whole idea is, to develop a personality which has great sense of humor. And great sense of humor requires constant practice. It requires great intelligence. It requires fantastic communication skills. It requires classiness. It requires supreme wit. You have to be at your cutting edge wit all the time. It requires super fast thinking. So consider developing a sense of humor as a life skill which will help you survive the tough times, tough environments, and tough people. And that's how it is. And another advantage of developing a good sense of humor is, like, I use it like a litmus test. It helps you in testing people. The people who don't appreciate your sense of humor are actually not worthy of your association. I have seen this. I use this as a cardinal principle in my life. The people who do not appreciate your sense of humor, they are actually not worthy of your association, because a person who appreciates your sense of humor, and I'm not talking about tomfoolery, which is considered to be a sense of humor. No, it is not. I'm talking about classy, cutting edge sense of humor which stands apart. I'm talking about that extreme, beautiful quality of personality. And why the people inside of these super successful groups actually appreciate this is because they know how much of hard work has gone into developing that personality trait. Nobody is born with a great sense of humor, but pick up any great person from the history, and you will see that sense of humor has been a great quality in them. If you pick up their writings, you can actually sense it. You can see it. You can see the deep involvement they have had with the world around them, and it comes with practice. So, before doing this or moving further, consider developing a great sense of humor so that even your sarcasm, your sarcastic comments, they have great value in it. And good people, intelligent people, no matter which level of success they are at, will appreciate this. And if they don't associate with them. So it's like keeping the ball in your court and playing it when you want to play it. And that's an extremely important, I would say, tool in your arsenal when you are tackling the real world which is, well, full of organized politics. Now, another valuable reality is learn to keep moving forward. You can discover your own ways to keep moving forward. You can learn to boost your vision for your future. You can learn to strengthen your imagination. You can learn to love yourself a bit more every day. You can learn to be less emotional. You can learn to thrive alone. You can learn not to expect anything from anyone. You can build your own close inner circle of people. You can learn to manage your money more efficiently. You can learn to build your financial resilience. You can learn new skills. You can learn to keep upscaling yourself. You can learn to keep raising the bar for yourself. You can learn to be alone and enjoy your solitude. This list is absolutely endless, but learn to keep moving forward. And I've seen different things work for different people. I mean, this list is absolutely endless. You find your own formula which works well for you, but keep moving forward and know that all the success traits are learned traits. No one is born with them. They are all learned as life progresses, as you develop more awareness about life, as you develop more intelligence about life. I've seen a lot of remarks on the social media about social intelligence, emotional intelligence, mental resilience, and things like that. And most of that is rubbish. It's all very monotonous, very boring, very preachy, and something which is like armchair philosophy. It really doesn't work in the real world. So, keep moving forward is the tagline of my company. Actually, it's the motto of my life. You can apply it as a motto of your life also. No matter what happens, just get up one more time and move forward. So, as I was talking about, learn to develop your solitude. It is extremely important reality. You are born alone and you also die alone. But what is not really known is that most people also live their lives alone, despite being surrounded by a bunch of other people almost all of the time. You see other people in different relationships like fathers, mothers, husbands, wives, sons, daughters, co-workers, partners. You see their happy social media posts, and then your thoughts go about finding flaws in your own life. And this comparison creates an imbalance in your own mind, and you may start thinking that you're all alone in this drama of life. In reality, the fact of the matter is that you know nothing about anyone else's loneliness unless they open up and tell you about it. And most of the time, we are living in such a society that if we start sharing our loneliness with somebody, well, we don't know what the person is going to do with that particular piece of information. And we have to understand, therefore, that people are great at putting up masks to hide the realities of their own lives from the outside world. So it is absolutely mandatory to understand the difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is destructive, it is depressing. Solitude is constructive and greatly inspirational. It takes a mind shift to understand this difference, and you have to go through a lot of loneliness in order to be able to appreciate what solitude really is. And I have to tell you one more thing, that all the successful people in this world have done this mind shift. Everybody has gone through the same journey, no matter where they are born. Even if they are born in the lap of luxury, in the lap of great successful people surrounding them, they still have to go through that loneliness and create a mind shift in them in order to become very comfortable in their own solitude. And you will be able to make this mind shift if you love yourself enough, if you love your life more than anything else. When you start understanding the real power of solitude, I can tell you, you will love it so much. You will love it so much that you start craving for your solitude. Every day you will take out a little bit of time to spend with yourself, and you'll be so happy in your solitude. That's the time when solitude becomes more and more productive for you. Then you don't have to do anything to run away from your loneliness, to find friends, to actually be a part of social groups, to actually have a lot of network on the social media, because your loneliness magically just disappears and becomes a part of your deep solitude, which you enjoy so much. And another reality is you find yourself in your solitude. You find yourself in your solitude because you are first time alone only with yourself. See, we spend maximum amount of time with ourselves. 24 hours a day we are with ourselves, and we yet understand ourselves so little. Why? We spend such little time with ourselves. Although we are with ourselves, it's the greatest paradox in the world that we spend such little time with ourselves. The moment we are alone with ourselves, we want to do something, we want to create something, we want to jump around and announce on the social media, whatever, even if we're having a cup of coffee or something, we have to post a picture over there. I mean, that's just how the social media propagates. Social media is utilized in many, many different manners. A lot of people have built a lot of big businesses, and I'm covering a whole series of interviews with extremely successful people who have done great work on social media. You can do it too. And that is like absolute correct investment of your time so that you derive some good results out of it. And it makes you feel very happy when you create success in that zone of yourself. But solitude is something where you really find yourself. And when you start enjoying your solitude, understand that no matter where you are in life, and no matter how rocky the pathway gets, no matter how tough it becomes, you will be able to find something which is a ray of hope, which is a ray of light, which gives you further understanding of the pathway ahead. And how am I saying this? Well, a lot of people have already done it. And in my practice also, I've seen a lot of people scale up and do this. It is extremely important. How I know this even more deeply, because in my own life also I have done this. At one point in time, I was so lonely that I would have done anything to get out of it. Today, I crave for my solitude because I have found that beautiful space where I am with myself and completely at ease. So I'm talking here out of experience. No matter how tough it gets, if you find yourself in your solitude, you will be able to carry forward with your life. Now, another reality is it's all right to quit. Listen very carefully. It's quite all right to quit. After trying really hard, if it still doesn't work for you in a certain industry, certain company, certain organization, certain human space, if it still doesn't work for you and you think you have done enough, you should quit the pathway. Yes, quitting is not a crime. We somehow get so many lectures about persistence, and we think the people who have persisted have done some great work. Yes, persistence is very good. I'm not saying not to be persistent, but I'm saying all the successful people have also quit and changed their career paths several times if required, and you can do it too. You can change your career path, but once you find yourself, you don't quit your life. You never ever do that, no matter what. And why you don't do it is because you love yourself enough. You realize that nothing in this world is more precious than your life. Not your career, not your friends, not your family, not your enemies, not anybody or anything else. All these exist. Of course, they are precious. Of course, they are important. But all of these exist till the time that you are there. If you are not there, nothing of this matters. The whole worldly drama doesn't matter. So you are most precious, and it is not a selfish behavior to think like this, because only if you love yourself enough will you be able to love another person. Will you be able to give what you, I mean, you can only give what you have. If you don't have love for yourself, how will you give it to anybody else? So once you find yourself and you love yourself, then you start believing in life. When you believe in life, nothing in this life will be able to break you down. It can put you down, but you will still be able to rise up once more. That's when you become truly resilient. And when you are truly resilient, you don't blame anyone anymore. You deal with this life as a game in which you win some, you lose some, and you take it all with a pinch of salt and you just keep moving forward. That's it. So now coming back to the reality number one, which I said at the start of this, is if you're facing organized politics, you are not the only one. You must never think that you are alone because it is a human existential reality. So you are definitely not alone. Consider it like a game. It happens. It's just there everywhere. And we have a lot of successful people from all walks of life, from all industries, all companies, everywhere, all spaces, who have managed to do all of this and have yet managed to become super successful. Now, I'm not saying that all this is completely exhaustive. No, this is a subject which I very deeply study all the time. These are some very basic points that I've compiled, which I thought will add value. So I'm giving them out like this. But in just like half an hour or like 40 minutes show, nobody can really cover all the deeper details of any particular topic, which is a way of life. It is not really possible to cover everything. So if you really are interested in knowing more, you can contact me and we can take it forward from there. But there are several successful people who have done this, who have also faced all of this. It is never talked about because, well, they have just accepted that it's a reality. They just go through it with every passing moment and keep moving forward. You know, from the Hindi films, we have a lot of people like Shah Rukh Khan, Katrina Kaif, Kangana Ranaut, Rajkumar Rao in the recent times, and Ayushmann Khurrana, and so many other people who have reached the epitome of their careers, who did not have any background in the films, so they must have done it in some manner. They must have also collaborated with very successful people, and some manner they have broken into those closed, comfortable groups because that's the way human beings operate. From Hollywood, we have Leonardo DiCaprio, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sarah Jessica Parker, and many, many more. And then we have the Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. He has come from very humble backgrounds. He has reached the premier position of the country. And it's not the matter of whether you like these people or you don't like these people. See, it is, I'm just giving these examples because their success is a static reality. It is not about whether you like them or you dislike them. It is all about understanding that they are really successful in their chosen fields. And as I always tell all of my business coaching clients, that actually 95% of your life is not about your liking any portion of it. It's just mundane, regular life, which you just have to go through. If you are extremely fortunate, then 5% of your life is perhaps that which you can really fall in love with over and over again, if you're really fortunate. But 95% of the life is something which is like a regular thing which everybody has to go through. So, and there are numerous examples of great success from the business world. I mean, the list is just endless. I'll just give you some names like which are coming at the top of my head. Like it's Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Ralph Lauren, Dhirubhai Ambani, Lakshmi Mittal. I mean, it's the list is just endless. So these are extremely competitive fields where people have gone and created great success for themselves. You can do it too. Now, one thing that is hardly ever talked about is that all of these people have faced organized politics as they were scaling up in their careers. So you win some, you lose some, and it just keeps on going on and on. That's just how the journey is. So if you've liked this information, go back and watch this video again. The replay will be available in a little while. Try to understand each of these points deeply, and then you will be able to live a richer life. Share this video with someone whom you think needs help, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are interested for more valuable information in the later videos. Keep moving forward. That's the motto of my life. Make it a motto of your life also. Keep moving forward. And I will see you in the next video. I have some people commenting over here. Dr. David Lincoln, he's a friend of mine, singing in an MP. We call this reframing. Yes, Dr. David, we have to do a show on this. I'll get back to you very soon on this. I was just a little overwhelmed with all of the information that is just floating around. And that's the reason why I thought I'd do this show today. This somebody, Rahul Sharma, is saying very nice. Thank you, Rahul. It is all about the outburst, about the real realities which everybody has to face. So I'm happy you liked it, but do take advantage of the information that is given, and I'll see you around. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching.